Many people asking me to ask you, Carl, your thoughts on Spence versus Crawford, of course, which is fast approaching. What do you think?
I think it's a great fight. I initially, when I knew the fight had been finally made, I thought Crawford probably just got a bit more in his locker, bit of a bigger puncher, more experience, had more fights. But then I'm thinking Errol Spence, what a great fighter. I think Spence made a better job of Kell Brook than Crawford did. He got him earlier, and he got him when he was less damaged. But they both got him when Kell Brook had that fight with Gennady Golovkin, which I think should have never happened. A welterweight should not be jumping in with a monstrous punch in middleweight. But Eddie Hearn made that fight happen after, I think, Amir Khan pulled out of the fight with Kell Brook. That was on Sky Box Office.
Sure.
Kind of saved the show, and Kell Brook, brave man, took on Golovkin, got his eye socket broke, and I think it broke his heart as well, and it was a bad loss for him. And he went on and fought Spence. He gave a good show of himself. Kell Brook's a great fighter, by the way. And he fought Crawford. But Spence and Crawford, both unbeaten. This is like a throwback to the Kings, the four Kings in the 80s and 90s.
Oh yeah, amazing.
And the best fight in the best. So I'm still edging Crawford, but I can make a massive case for Errol Spence. It's a great fight.
Now, earlier on, you're very much in the school of I say what I mean and I mean what I say. And you were telling us that you've got no personal vendetta with Anthony Joshua or anybody else in the fight game. Yeah. But with Joshua, nothing personal. Anthony Joshua, one of his best chums, Michael Jarman, joins us on the line. Michael, good afternoon.
Gents, how are we?
Very good indeed. You know Carl Froch. He's sitting right beside me. What do you think?
With him.
Michael, you think Carl's maybe got a bit of an agenda, right?
I think I'm disappointed and frustrated, especially as two boxing men that have shared the same coach. I met Carl years ago, right when AJ, I think, was fighting in Liverpool. We had a good conversation about boxing, and Carl's gone on to achieve what he's achieved. So for me, as a respected boxing figure and someone very close that would almost be perceived as a conduit for Rob, I think there's been a narrative fueled around what AJ has said. I think it's been sensationalized because I don't think you and I both know Rob. With the career that AJ has had with Rob, there's nothing but love and respect. Okay, granted, two people have parted company, and did it end on the best of terms? Maybe it could have split with a bit more of a handshake. That being said, there's nothing but love, admiration and respect for what Rob has achieved. And that's where I would like to call a bit of hypocrisy from you, Carl, because a few weeks ago you were on with Simon saying he's got no legacy, it's not there yet, the 2 losses to Usyk. But then equally, when you're offended by what's been said about Rob, you're saying he's gone on to win an Olympic gold medal. He's gone on to be a unified heavyweight champ twice. So which one is it? Has he had a good career? Has he not?
What do you think?
I think he's had a great career, fantastic career. I think he's overachieved. I think that's because of Rob McCracken, but I still don't think his legacy is
Sorry. What? So how has he overachieved and because of Rob?
Because of his limitations in the boxing. He never boxed from when he was a kid. He hasn't got the amateur pedigree. He started boxing late, and Rob McCracken was engineering everything he did from start to finish. So he engineered his style.
So that wasn't AJ at all jumping in the ring. I'm not sitting there saying Rob wasn't a big part of that, but the boxer's still got to go in and deliver the goods.
Of course, AJ jumped in the ring. What are you doing, pointing out the obvious? I mean, come on, you got more than that.
Yeah, I am pointing out the obvious. No, but that's what I'm saying.
So what's your point?
You're trying to detract. My point is you're trying to detract away. It's almost like you're trying to discredit what he's achieved. And
you can say somebody's had a great career without saying they've got a legacy that's intact. Legacy is different to having a great career. There's loads of fighters out there that have amazing careers, but they won't have legacy. They won't be remembered for having an amazing career, fighting back-to-back world champions, taking world titles off people, beating undefeated fighters. It's all about timing, and AJ fought all his mandatories. I give him a lot of respect for that. But when you ask about legacy, he'll be remembered for losing to Ruiz and having back-to-back defeats to Usyk.
Still to be written. Carl.
Exactly. He's still active, and if he goes on and beats
Tyson
Fury, and if he goes on and beats Usyk in a rematch or goes over to Saudi and beats Deontay Wilder and finishes his career on a high, ask me then again about his legacy. But if you're asking me now, I stand by exactly what I said. I don't think there's even an argument.
Is it not difficult to argue with that, Michael? That when you consider what happened with Ruiz and then back to back with
Jim, opinions are opinions. Like it's whatever.
I'm not talking opinions. I'm talking facts at the minute.
No. It's your opinion, Carl. That's what
I'm talking facts. When I talk about Ruiz and back-to-back defeats to Usyk, that's factual.
I would have a different opinion to what you would. So would Bob down the road. So the fact remains, it's your opinion, and you're entitled to that.
So what's your opinion? What's your opinion on his performance against Jermaine Franklin?
What's my opinion on it? Well, he said it himself. You don't need my opinion. He said it himself that he thought he was a little bit.
No, but I'm asking your
what's the
opinion.
word I want to look for? Because I don't want to put words in his mouth. My opinion. My opinion is relevant. Could he have got rid of him and dispatched of him to make everyone happy? Yes. Could he have put himself in the middle of a sling fight to make it more entertaining for the fans? Yes. Is there jeopardy in that? Yes. Did he get the win? Yes. Does the career move on? Yes.
Right. So what do you think he needs to do against Dillian Whyte? How do you think his performance needs to look against Dillian Whyte, looking ahead at what's ahead of him?
Darragh hit the nail on the head from a man who, as I said, he's my best mate. Speak to him not as regularly as I like to when he's in camp, but knowing him as a man, there's a lot of jeopardy in this fight. I think I'd say a lot of people, I think the general consensus is take the money in Saudi, don't put yourself in harm's way. There's a lot of conversation around where he's at mentality-wise, and I'd understand why the media's gone for that, although I know different. And from my perspective, I think he's looked at it, he's gone, yeah, there's jeopardy in it, but like Darragh said, if I'm not ready, if I can't beat Dillian Whyte and beat him convincingly, then am I ready to walk into the Deontay Wilder fight? So I think, if anything, credit and props to him.
Absolutely.
The show goes on in a couple of weeks' time.
That's a great attitude to have.
We'll see where he's at, and then we can have the conversation, and that's it. So, but really, Cole, honestly, my only thing is it's just like, I want to just pare back from this Rob stuff, because as far as I'm concerned, I know comically your nose got brought into conversation. I actually don't think it was supposed to be. I'm glad you've seen the humorous side to it. I don't think he meant it that way. That being said, where he said I've given Rob my best years, there's nothing wrong with saying that. He has. He's like his earliest years, his years where he's developing. All he said is he wanted to progress and develop a little bit more, and he felt as if his defence, as he's still learning on the job, as he's always said throughout his career, he just wanted to improve a little bit more. And maybe with Rob, as things had become a little bit more fractured, it was the same. And he felt, and can I just add to this, and here's proof in the pudding for it, after the first Ruiz loss, Rob's head was on a plate. Everyone, media-wise, we saw it all the next day. Get rid of Rob. Rob's no good.
That was true. That was true, yeah.
Kept hold of him for the second fight. Added 2 more coaches, I believe, to his corner to help develop. And that's why he was able to box and dance a bit more. But he still kept Rob as the head honcho for that fight. So for me, the proof's in the pudding that Josh has always tried to be loyal and do the respectful and honourable thing.
Is that fair, Carl? Would you say that's fair for Michael?
That's almost fair. You sugarcoated the bit where he said about Rob McCracken, he's given him his best years. What he said was actually, and it came across like, he said he's wasted time with Rob McCracken. He's got to make up.
No, it's been taken as that.
He said he's got to make up for lost time. That's what I read. So he's now got to make up for lost time with Rob McCracken. That's where I bit back and said,
I've given him my best years.
And I
understand why
press can take things out of context. If he said he's got to make up for lost time, then I'm going to give him stick. If he said he's given him his best years, well, Rob McCracken gave him a lot of success in them best years, because look at what he achieved under Rob McCracken. And I don't blame him, or I don't mind him parking up his company with Rob McCracken and moving on to a new environment that could potentially spark something new. Different environment. He's over in Dallas now. He's surrounded by champions in the gym, and hopefully that can reignite an old flame where he can be more tenacious and more aggressive and throw combination punches moving forward. That's what I want him to do, and that's what the British boxing public want to see him do. Come back at the top of his game. And I asked you earlier, what do you think he needs to do in his fight against Deontay and
against
Dillian Whyte? What he needs to do is go in there and do a demolition job. Yeah. Now, that don't mean he needs to go in there and smash him up like I smashed up Lucian Butte after losing to Andre Ward. It could mean that he goes in there and just puts on a boxing masterclass, doesn't get overshot, and really puts on a top-class performance, and people will go, right, okay, AJ's back. That's what we need to see. And I hope wholeheartedly that he can do that.
Listen, I'd pay money for Froch's Jarman, never mind anything else. Do you know that?
No, I wouldn't take that. I don't take stupid.
Michael, very briefly, we do thank you for coming on. Briefly,
no, thanks for having me.
What do you think we're going to see from AJ against White? What do we need to see from him?
I think what you're going to see is a man that has spent months re-studying, relearning about himself, where he's at, who he is. You're going to see all the work that all the hard yards he's been putting in with Derek, and we're going to see, as you know, the media clearly and some of the public need convincing, whether he's ready to rock and roll and to crack on with the Saudi fight against Deontay Wilder or not. And that's it. What do I think he needs to do? I think he needs to beat him, and I think he needs to beat him convincingly. But I've always believed that And then no boxer can walk into a ring and say, "Oh, I'm going to take it easy and stick behind a jab and not take risks." Every boxer has to go into a ring knowing that they've got to hurt the opponent they're fighting, and nothing changes for us. So the show goes on.
Michael Jarman, listen, thanks so much for that. Carol, lot of messages coming in. You're very much respected in the world of boxing, even at this stage in your life. Alan in Liverpool. Guys, great having Carl Froch on the show this lunchtime. He talks so much sense.